Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening? What's going on? What's happening, friend? Rich Wall Street Williams here from um, Momentum Consulting. We're going to be getting started here shortly. Having a conversation on how to outperform the competition, how to outperform the competition. So I'm giving everyone an opportunity, another 45 or 60 seconds or so to get logged in. And we will be starting momentarily. So, listen, as we're going through this, and if you have questions or if you have, you want to know how to get you want to get more information as we're going through this, um, do me a favor and just um, direct message me in the chat box. I'll make sure that you get the information. For those that are just joining us, my name is Rich Williams. My nickname is Wall Street, and I got the nickname Wall Street years ago. I was working for a financial annuity company in downtown Bethesda, and I'm part of a sales team. And as I was walking into the office in the morning, one of my coworkers said, "Rich, you walk like you have money. We're going to call you Wall Street." And so, I said, "No, you're going to call me Rich." But they were persistent at calling me um, Wall Street. And that was like, man, I don't know, maybe 13, 14 years ago. And so the name has stuck. And when I got into selling real estate, we created a team, Wall Street Homes. And so, again, as they say, as the saying goes, the rest is history. Um, a little bit about myself for those that don't know. I am a sales professional. I'm more of a people connector. I am my mission in life. I'm passionate about connecting people and opportunities. As a matter of fact, I take it to this level and I say I'm passionate about getting people excited and passionate about things that they cannot see, right? Because it's those things that we cannot see that if we could lock into, if we can lock into the things that our vision, our imagination paints about our success, right? And I'm talking about that image that's a positive image. If we can tap into that, man, I'm telling you, success is imminent, right? It is going to happen. Now, understand this: success means different things to different people. I get that. You know, I believe it was Earl Nightingale who said that success is a progression towards a worthy idea um, or goal. So again, success means different things to different people. My intention today is simply this: it's just share some information. Now, what I'm sharing with you is a portion of a complete series that I've done in the past on outperformance. Where did I come from? Where did I get this idea of outperformance? I got the idea years ago. I was doing sales training for a group of real estate agents, and I'll never forget it. It was at a Keller Williams in York, Pennsylvania. Shout out to my Keller Williams friend. They said, "Are you a Keller Williams agent?" No, I love Keller Williams. I was an agent at Keller Williams. I was a team leader for Keller Williams. I did that two different times for about 4 or 5 years. Anyways, so I'm doing this training, right, and I'm sharing with these agents um, productivity ideas on productivity, how to be more productive, how to do more in less time. And so while I'm doing this training, I got a revelation, had an epiphany, and that was, you know what, I'm sharing, and I've been asked multiple times to talk about how you beat the competition. You got to understand, friend, that I've been doing sales training, business development, and coaching since 2004. Since 2006, I've helped sales professionals small business owners and entrepreneurs amass more than $153 million of sales. And so when it comes to sales and production, I have a lot of ideas and I have a lot of experience in terms of how to do it. Right. And so I have this moment, I have this aha moment. Wait a minute. I'm talking about how to beat the competition. Here's your reality, friend. We don't really beat the competition. We don't really beat the competition. We outperform the competition. We don't beat the competition. We outperform the competition, right? So, what does that mean? So, let's test this. Let's test this just for a minute before we get into what I have today. Let's just test. And we're only going to be together maybe 35, 40 minutes. For those that join in on LinkedIn, if you want to be in this live conversation, this virtual, want to sit in this virtual space, all you gotta do is DM me. I'll drop you the link, and you can come on into the call. Right. Anyway, I'm doing this training. I'm talking about productivity. And back then I was known as the doctor of development, the professor of productivity. And it dawned on me, how in the heck do I beat the competition when the competition has access to the same tools? Let me ask you this. Does the competition have access to the internet? Say yes. Does a competition has have access to social media? Say yes. Does a competition have access to digital marketing? Say yes. Does a competition have access to brand content? Say yes, say yes, say yes. So how do I beat someone that are using the same tools that I'm using? How do you beat the competition when the competition is using the same tools that I'm using? Let me tell you, here's how you beat the competition. You stop focusing in on beating the competition and you focus in on, how do I outperform them? How do I outperform the competition? And so when you start thinking and focusing as a salesperson, as an organization, I'm no longer focused on beating the competition. I'm not trying to keep up with, you're familiar with the terminology, keeping up with the Joneses. No, I want the Joneses to keep up with the Williams. Right. So you don't really beat the competition, because the competition has access to the same tools that you and I have access to. We outperform them. Now, how do I outperform the competition? That's a great question. By asking that question, we now place ourselves in an environment and an arena for creative ideas and processes. When I stop thinking I need to beat the competition, to how, asking myself, asking my team, asking my organization, hey, how do we outperform the competition? Right? How do we outperform the competition when the competition has access to the same tools that we have access to? So that's what this is all about today. This is about information on beating the competition, right? Five key strategies to beating the competition. Now, I'm going to move rather quickly through this, even though this webinar was set up from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're going to be done before 12 p.m. And if you want to see the rebroadcast, or you want any information that I share, all you have to do is just direct message me on LinkedIn. Just send me a quick message. Hey, can you send me those slides? And I'll send you out the PDF form of what I'm sharing with you today. So there are five key strategies that you and I are going to make an intentional decision that we're going to lock into these five things, and these five things are going to create success. When I was selling real estate, and I sold real estate, and I still love real estate. As a matter of fact, I had a Maryland license and a DC license that I put in referral last year. And I'm dusting off the real estate license this year. I'm licensed. I'll be licensed in DC, back in DC again, back in Maryland again, primarily from the standpoint of investing. I love real estate, so I've done real estate training, and I love the environment that real estate training has produced, or the mindset that successful realtors have. I remember a few years ago, I was at Long and Foster. This is back in like 2016, 6, 7 years ago, working at Long and Foster. I was on the Wendy Banner team. Banner, her and her team, the top team at Long and Foster in the Bethesda, Maryland area. At that time, Wendy did somewhere in the neighborhood of I think she did like I don't know some crazy number like 100 million in real estate. Right, her average home sold was like 1.3 million. So I'm on this millionaire team, right? And my job was to generate leads. But here's the point that I'm trying to make is that the environment of a multi-million dollar producer is different than the environment of someone who's just new in the business. And I'm just only using real estate as an example, but this mindset it transcends, it crosses barriers. It's to any industry. As a matter of fact, I always encourage any audience that I'm talking to, whether it's about sales, business, even on other matters on faith, etc. Listen, you got to have the mindset when you step into your office, when you step into your business, when you pick up that phone to call a customer, when you walk into that appointment, you have to have the mindset, friend, that I am the CEO of a multi-million dollar organization. Listen, the CEO of a multi-million dollar company usually thinks differently than the person who isn't the CEO of a multi-million dollar. I know you've seen things out there. CEOs are different, but I'm telling you what, there are some CEOs, men and women, that are crushing it because of the way that they think. Leadership isn't about barking orders. Leadership is about influence. And listen, understand this while we're talking about leadership and influence. People leave people long before they leave an organization. Remember that. People will leave a person. People leave people long before they leave an organization. I digress, but here's the point that I'm making, that you got to have this mindset that I'm the CEO of a multi-million dollar real estate company, or I am a top performing sales professional, or I am a cutting edge HR professional, or fill in the blank. But you have to have the mindset. Right. So this mindset, then we weave into these five key strategies. There's five key strategies that you and I can do in our daily life that puts us in the position on put us in the position to outperform the competition. To outperform the competition. And here are the five things, friend. Number one, you have to build your skills weekly. Build your skills weekly. Discover the importance of continuous learning and growth in today's dynamic business landscape. Discover the importance of continuous learning and growth in today's dynamic business application. That's why the motto at Momentum Consulting is education plus application. Because I learned long ago that education in and of itself is not going to transform my life. I have friends that went to school and they have a 4 and 5 and 6 year degree, and they aren't working in the field that they went to school for. So they spend 40, 50, 60, $70,000 to get a degree, and they go in a different direction. I'm not making light of higher education. I'm a fan of higher education. But don't let education get in the way or prevent you from applying what you've learned. Because only those who consistently apply what they learn makes the difference. Am I making sense? So invest in your education, your development, right? That's one of the key strategies. That's how you separate the good from the great. That's how you go from average to extraordinary. Is that you build continue you discover the importance of continuous learning. Learn how to identify right skills to develop, create a personalized learning plan, and make consistent progress towards becoming an industry leader. Continuous progress towards becoming an industry leader. You have to be convinced, friend, when you walk into your office in the morning, that you are an industry leader. You are, friend. You are an industry leader. So you got to build your skills weekly. I was doing a training a number of years ago. And again, I was doing some real estate sales training a number of years ago. There was about 30 or 40 agents in the class, and we were doing a weekly class. I was doing a 3-week class on Online marketing, I think, is what we were talking about at the time. Just sharing the four C's, content, capture, connect, and cultivate, etc. And so I said, okay, so I want to give you an assignment. So, we met every Friday and I would give them an assignment and then we come back the next week and we would talk about the assignment, right? So I gave them an assignment. I said, listen, go back to your office and I want you to find at least two agents, realtors in your office that commit to at least 15 minutes a week of building a skill, learning a new script, a new script, etc. 30 or 40 people in the class. 100% of them say, yes, we're going to do it. So they went back to their offices. I couldn't wait till the following week because I already knew what the answer was going to be. The next week they come back. And I said, how many of you did your homework? 100% participation. Every hand went up. I said, great. How many of you found at least one or two agents in your office that have committed to at least 15 minutes a week? Friend, we're talking about 3 minutes a day, 5 days a week. At least 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes a week, building a skill, learning a new script. How many of you did? Out of 30, 40 people in the class, only 2 people raised their hand. See, I knew that. Here's why I knew that. Because in real estate, as an example, just using real estate as an example, but these numbers, they bleed into other industries and areas. There's an 85% failure rate. 80, according to the National Association of Realtors, 85% of our realtors fail in real estate in the first 12 or 18 months. Right? In any industry, there's 80-20 principle. You're familiar with the 80-20 principle. 20% of the work produces 80% of the results. In wealth, 20% of the people, 20 or 15 or 20% of the people control 80 or 85% of the wealth. It's the 80-20 principle. So out of the agents, 30 or 40 went back to their office. 10 or 15% is about 2 or 3 people, roughly, that invest 15 minutes a week, at least 15 minutes a week. My guess is those 2 or 3 agents that said they did that, my guess is that they're in the top percentile in their office. They're in the top percentile in their office. So you got to make a decision to build your skills weekly. What skills? If I'm in HR, I got to build my skill of conflict resolution. I got to build my skill about benefits and understanding how they work. I got to build my skill on how to keep my internal customers safe and my external customers safe. If I'm in HR, if I'm in staffing, I got to learn how to talk smart in a selling situation. I got to learn how to create a problem and a solution during the same conversation. I encourage you, if you're a sales professional, even if you're not a sales professional, but you're in the industry of engaging people professionally, I would encourage you to look into some neuro emotional persuasive questions, NEPQ, neural emotional persuasive questions. I don't have time to go into it right now, but I encourage you to go take a look at that and check it out because that's skill building. When I learned as a sales professional, when I learned how to handle an objection, I invested time in learning different scripts on how to handle objections so that when I'm in a selling situation, I'm having a selling conversation, I already have 2 or 3 different responses for every objection that I was going to hear. If a customer told me during a selling situation, let's say I'm in staffing, hey, Rich, we appreciate you stopping past. We appreciate the information. But I want to talk with 1 or 2 other companies before I make a decision. Right? The untrained staffing professional, when they hear that question, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, okay, thank you. I'll call you in a week or 2. No, they're not going to call you and they're not going to take your call in a week or 2. Right? That's when you're untrained. But if you have a little bit of training, all you have to do is ask questions. Hey, Rich, thanks for stopping past. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time. We love the information. It looks like you guys have a great process of finding scale talent. But we want to talk to 1 or 2 other companies first. Now, this is skill building. In my mind, I go through the cushion, question, isolate, handle, close. Automatically in my mind, I go through cushion, question, isolate, handle, close. Automatically in my mind, I go through cushion, question, isolate, handle, close. Cushion. What's cushion? Cushion is anything that I say to show the client that I'm not going to argue. I can appreciate you sharing your concern. That's a cushion. Well, thanks for sharing that, Susan. That's a cushion. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's a cushion. Doesn't matter, right? It's just something that I say because I understand that if I'm in a selling conversation, I got to disarm that client internally first, psychologically first. Cushion question, isolate, handle, close. Cushion. Now the question, just out of curiosity, now I'm going to ask a who, what, when, where, and why. I'm going to ask an open-ended question. I don't want you to answer this question with a yes or no. I want to, you know, I'll be a little concerned. Okay, hey Susan, just out of curiosity, I'm just curious. What are you looking for from those other companies? What are you looking for from those other companies? Right? Cushion question, isolate, handle, close. Cushion question, isolate, handle, close. They share with me, but then I isolate. That's the only thing that's preventing you from moving forward. That's isolation. Cushion question, isolate. Now handle. I'm going to show them something. I'm going to tell them something. I'm going to ask more questions. Then finally to close. Does that make sense? Can we move forward? Any questions about that? Right? Cushion question. But what I'm saying is you got to build your skills. You got to build your skills. Here's what I say when I do coaching training. I say you got to be confident, competent, and sound natural. Right? How do you get to become competent, confident, and sound natural? How do you get there? Because you practice, drill, and rehearse. You practice, drill, and rehearse. You practice, you drill, you rehearse. When you practice, drill, and rehearse, automatically, friend, you become confident, competent, and you sound natural. Right? So the second key strategy to outperforming the competition, friends, you got to read at least 5 books on your profession a year. Explore the transformative power of knowledge and gain a competitive edge by expanding your expertise. Listen, people aren't always calling you because they like you. They call you, they need you because you provide a solution. You are a consummate professional. I'm people say that I am polished, professional, and I'm persistent. Right? I follow up when I say I'm going to follow up. I do exactly what I said I'm going to do when I said that I was going to do it. That's how you go from average to great and building relationships with customers. And building relationship with your customers, do what you said you were going to do when you said you were going to do it. Here's the second part of that, at least for me, is I am always going to undersell and over deliver. Undersell, over deliver. Undersell, over deliver. Right? But read 5 books. When was the last time you read a book? How many books this year have you read on your profession? If you're in HR, how many books on HR have you read this year? If you're in staffing, how many books have you read on staffing so far this year? I got a book on staffing called 101 Ways to Recruit. I got a book on staffing that I go back to time to time, and it's on how to strategically penetrate your market from a sales funnel perspective. See, these are books in industry. I listened to a podcast by a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Miner. Right? He's not necessarily on staffing, but he's on sales. Right? So, read 5 books, subscribe to a podcast. We got a podcast, Motivate Podcast. But here's the point. The point is, when was the last time you read a book on your profession? Right? Learn how. Listen, friend, learn how to create a reading list. Tailor to your professional goals. Reading list that's tailored to your professional goals. I hope this is making sense. The third key is leverage your social media. Uncover the strategies to effectively utilize social media platforms as tools for professional growth and networking. So here's how you can tell if you are trending in the right direction on social media. I want you to go to Instagram. I want you to hashtag your company name and see how many times that hashtag appears on Instagram. Now, don't do it now. And I said that somebody already picked up the phone and started looking. Right? Hashtag your company name. hashtag your company name on Instagram and see how many times your company name has was presented on social media. Now, friend, understand that social media is where a lot of business is happening, right? Is your social media content, does it capture attention? Are you adding value? I'm not talking about social media sell, sell, sell. Every time you're on, you sell, sell, sell. Every time you're on, you sell, sell, sell. I'm talking about, are you adding value to your audience? Are you adding value consistently to your followers? Listen, if you just do this and this only, do the 10 by 10. I call it the 10 by this. How do I ramp up my social media presence with over in 90 days? Do the 10 by 10. The 10 by 10. Do 10 posts by 10 a.m. 5 days a week. 10 by 10. 10 posts, 10 posts. And listen, if it's your professional social media platform, 9 professional, 1 personal. 9 professional, 1 personal. If it's on LinkedIn, if I'm looking to ramp up my social media presence or content over the next 90 days, I'm gonna do the 10 by 10 5 days a week. The 10 by 10 5 days a week. I'm gonna do 10 posts by 10 a.m. So I'm going to do 9 posts professional, adding value, not necessarily about selling, but adding value, content, right? Adding value, and then something personal about my personal life. On occasion, you see it. I'll post stuff about me and my wife. I've been married. Her and I'll be married 34 years in September. Yay! Clap for her. She hung in there on the wild ride with Rich Williams. But your social media should have 4 C's. It should capture, it should have content, it should cultivate, and it should convert. 4 C's of social media. 10 by 10 in 90 days. 10 by 10. That's just real quick. There are other things you can do, but understand that this is I'm just highlighting some things for you. We want more information. We can connect and talk more offline. Key strategy number 4 on how to outperform the competition is invest in your team. Your team needs your support. Anyone can breathe out directions. Do this. Be here. Don't do this. I mean, do this. Do right? That's a boss. The world is full of bosses. We have enough bosses. We don't have many leaders. Let me ask you something, leader. When is your as far as your team is concerned, do you know when their birthdays are? Special events in their lives, anniversaries, childbirth. Are you tracking that, leader? Are you your team's coach, cheerleader, and biggest fan, or are you your team's number one critic? I said this earlier. I'm saying it again. People leave people long before they leave. They leave an organization. So invest in your team, man. And when I say man, I mean that's my vernacular. Invest in your team. Understand the significance of a high performing team in achieving sustainable goals and success. Invest in your team. Spend time with your team. Get to know your team. Create, you hear this in corporate. I heard this a lot in corporate America, in a corporate environment, that we want to we want to create a family environment. What does that mean? A family environment. When your team member is struggling, do you say, do you only look at the KPI? For those that don't know what KPI is, key performance indicators. Do you only look at, or are you asking, hey, how's everything going? Are you all right? Let's sit down and talk a little bit. Let's put the KPI aside. How are you doing? You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that people do more for praises than raises, right? Because you invested in your team. The world is full of bosses. We don't need more bosses. We need leaders. We need people who lead with the heart. More specifically for me, I love servant oriented leadership. I'll never ask you to do something I'm willing to do myself. Sales are down. I'm rolling up my sleeve. I'm jumping in there with the team. Come on, let's go. We're going to crush this. We're going out every day, doing whatever we need to do to win. Got to be flexible. We got to wear a different hat. Everyone knows what everyone knows. Cross function, highly function, cross trained, highly function team. That's the goal. But you, leader, have to invest. You can tell I'm passionate about that. And I'm extremely passionate about that, friend. I make no excuses. Um, it is unfortunate that the number of people who are leaving companies, the attrition rate of companies, people leaving because bosses don't understand there's a difference between being a boss and a leader, being a manager and a leader. Just because you're the head, right, doesn't mean that is your way or the highway. So you have to have a little bit of emotional intelligence. You know, I do some employee retention training. You know, I did a presentation on LinkedIn last year, and not last year, last month on um, the cost of a bad hire. It's 2 to 3, in most cases, some cases, a bad hire can cost you as much as a salary, sometimes twice the salary. When you figure out the benefits, the time and training, et cetera, et cetera. So you got to invest in your team. You have to invest in your team. And the fifth and final key to outperforming the competition, friend, is I'm going to say you need to hire a coach. Am I lobbying for you? Am I lobbying for you to hire me? No, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is if you want to go to the next level requires you to do something different. See, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's insane. It's insane, friend. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to explore the transformative power of working with a professional coach who can provide personalized guidance and support, right? So hire a coach. You know, the cost of hiring a coach compared to the cost of non-production or losing sales is minimum. Listen, from an investment standpoint, for those that are those that are in investing, if I came to you today and I said, "Hey, give me $1,000 today, and I guarantee you in 30 days I'll bring back $20,000," and I did it, right? And I came back to you the next month and I said, "Hey, give me $1,000, and in 30 days I'll bring you back $20,000," and then I did it. And I came back to you the third month and I said, "Hey, give me $1,000, and in 30 days I'll bring you back $20,000," and I did it. Who would keep giving me $1,000 if I kept bringing you back 20? Say me. I've got both my hands up because I would do it, right? So what's the point? The point is when you invest in hiring a coach, professionally trained, send your team to training. Send your team, find out who's who in your industry that's providing the type of training that you need to help take your team to the next level, right? And invest in them. So it's going to cost you a couple $1,000s. Listen, you're losing $1,000 with employees leaving and loss of production. You've already spending that money. Why not invest it in yourself? Why not invest in your team? Why not invest in your long-term success? Well, listen, man, I hope that these 35 minutes or so that we had together, I hope that you found this information helpful. My name is Rich Walshy Williams. I'm the Chief People Coach for Momentum Consulting. At Momentum Consulting, we believe that education plus application makes all the difference in the world. Let's get this, friend. I'll see you soon.